Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sunday and I'm sorry if there's music playing in the background. That's SpongeBob on the TV to keep my dogs company while I do this. But I wanted to talk more about productivity habits that I've started to implement into my daily routine, just because I feel like the other one that I made was a little bit scattered all over the place, but this one is a bit more detailed and a bit more structured. And these are the things that I'm doing to help maximize productivity, performance at work, how to increase self-confidence, motivation, self-love, all of those things. Anything to make myself feel good and prep myself for the next year before this year ends. So, starting in the mornings, during the weekdays or during the times like days that I work in the office, I usually have 3 alarms set up. I like to challenge myself to get up as soon as my first alarm goes off. And if I don't, then I obviously suffer the consequences of being late. And I hate being late. I hate the feeling of being rushed more than anything. So I know the consequences and I like to really mentally train my brain to follow these rules and to build discipline starting in the morning. I drink coffee, I make a light breakfast, and I usually eat that on the way to the office. And while I'm on that drive, instead of listening to music that's really going to determine how I'm going to feel the rest of the day, I like to introduce really educational, informative podcasts into my brain as soon as I wake up. And I drive about 30 to 40 minutes to work with traffic, and so that's the perfect time for me to listen to podcasts. And right now, the one that I'm really listening to in the mornings is the Andrew Huberman podcast, or The Lab. They talk about science, health and wellness, anything that has to do with your sleep, diet, anything like that. It's so informative, and I like to really nourish my mind with anything educational, because that already makes me feel accomplished and it makes me feel productive for the rest of the day. So that's a win right off the bat. And not all mornings are going to be like that. Sometimes I'd rather listen to like hype beat music, anything that's going to make me feel good in the mornings. But if I really want to be productive and really set myself up for success for that day, I'd listen to a podcast. And then again, with my meals at work, I like to meal prep the night before, fresh meals as much as possible. And it's really like a in between of plant-based and protein-based meals, because I started going to the gym. I need more protein to keep the energy going. So that's for the rest of my work days. And then at night, that's when I usually go to the gym. I'm trying to switch it where I go to the gym in the morning instead, but it's just I haven't been able to do that yet for myself. So after work, I'll go to the gym, which is like 10 minutes away from my house where I currently live, and I'll finish the rest of my 10K steps, because I know throughout the day I've already walked a lot, like just with my coworkers and like just other works in the office. So I'll complete the rest of my 10K steps, and then I'll probably do some light exercises. I don't like to do like heavy workouts at night, because I get off at like 6, 7, and then I'll go to the gym at like 8, and it's just not enough. It's not good for me, because I need to be able to sleep and get up the next day. So I'll do something that's going to make me feel tired or drain my energy. So that's like running, walking, and then maybe doing some light machine workout. So that's kind of like my evening routine. And then come the nighttime routine, I usually like to listen to manifestation affirmation podcasts, and the channels that I usually listen to is The Wizard Liz, Simone Simmons. I like listening to Bobby, the High Vibrations channel, and I think that's it. And that usually helps put myself in a good mood at night, and helps remind me that there's a bigger purpose as to why I'm doing all of these things, as to why I'm doing a 9 to 5 job, and there's something bigger meant for my life. And so that's a really good space to put myself in at night. And then if when I'm about to go to sleep, I like to listen to maybe meditation music or jazz. Right now I'm in very like seasonal mood, so I'm already getting into like the Christmas vibe and stuff like that. So I listen to jazz, anything that's just like light in the background in a very low volume, just because I don't like having just straight silence in my room when I go to sleep. So that's my nighttime routine. Oh, also, before I go to sleep, I like to make sure that I write like 4 things for the next day to really have structure when I wake up in the morning and I'm not like scattered brain. So most of the time, I usually just write like get up in the morning or something like that. I don't know. Something motivational to get me going. So that is the majority of my week. That's how I structure, and those are the things that I've started doing lately to really help maintain that productivity and performance at work. And then come the weekdays, which I have 3 days, I have Saturdays to Mondays off, and starting Monday morning, the first thing that I like to do is get myself some matcha. So instead of getting myself coffee, I like to drink matcha instead. It's a little bit lighter on the body, and it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm on vacation and like something fun is about to happen this weekend. So that's what I like to do, substitute, or that's what's different from my weekdays to my weekends. And then I like to do something creative. So because I work a 9 to 5 job, and that's mainly like what I do now during my gap year. I don't have anything else to do over the weekends. So what I like to do is just I chose like a creative hobby, and this podcast is what it is for me. And then something more academic, like work focus or like laptop focus, is working on grad applications for graduate school. So those are the things, that's like the bulk of my weekends, or anything that I like to do productive over the weekends. So starting in the morning, I'll film a podcast in the beginning of my weekend to really have something to work on, whether it's editing it or whether it's like filming a short so I can post it mid-week and have something to look forward to. Because I feel like when I post something, it's definitely it takes a week for it to get some momentum, and that's what I like. I have fun watching it grow throughout the week, so that's kind of what I like to do for entertainment purposes. So I'll post a podcast in the beginning of the weekend, and then I'll probably go to the farmer's market, go to a Pilates class in the morning as well, walk the dogs, do my groceries, meal prep for that weekend. I always meal prep every like section of my week, so there's my weekdays and then my weekends. And like I said, right now my diet is more plant-based / high protein meal, just because I started going back to the gym. And so I'll get workout in the mornings, and then more steps in the evenings to really help maintain what I've already done, what my body's used to over the weekends, or weekdays, where I'm walking 10K steps at night. I like to continue and carry that over to the weekend, so that my body doesn't feel like all over the place, and I have that routine really in my weekly schedule. Even if it's a weekday, nothing really much is different. I'm still getting the 10K steps. Which the only thing that's different is that I work out in the morning as well. Yes. And also, instead of listening to educational podcasts in the morning, I would listen to foreign podcasts. So right now I'm learning Italian and German, and how I practice those languages is by listening to podcasts or music that's in that language. And that's how I really stimulate my mind on the weekdays when I know like I don't really have a lot of things to do. It's more of like light workload. And so that's how I keep the momentum going in terms of like feeding and nourishing my mind with something informative, something educational. And if I'm looking for something a little bit more lighter, more fun, I'd listen to Emma Chamberlain's podcast. It's very funny, storytelling. I like that. If for some reason podcasts are not doing it for me, I'll listen to female-centered music. Right now, I really like listening to Nika, Tyla, Tate McRae, Doja Cat. Those are my main artists right now because they just really feed into this strong, confident, female-centered energy, and I am loving that right now. Those are a couple of my options over the weekend. Besides working out, there's not really much that I do throughout the weekends, like the same thing that I do on Saturdays. I'll probably film more clips for my shorts, write a podcast episode that same weekend for the next weekend, so that as soon as Saturday hits, I have something to film. And then I continue to work on my grad apps in between working out and doing my groceries and errands, and then more working out. And then something that I like to do to really help wrap up my week is to watch the sunset. I'll go to like a cliff. I live in San Diego. I have this perfect spot, and I'll go drive up there and just watch the sunset, listen to some really good music. And right now it's a little bit chilly, so it feels so good. And like, I have been in the summer mode all year. I don't know what it is. I am always craving summer now more than like winter, even though I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks. But I have been loving that summer energy, feeling confident about yourself and just feeling so magical and divine. That's like the energy that I have been trying to nurture and continue as I end 2025. Anyway, that I think was everything that I do to really help motivate and increase productivity. There is one more thing that I do, but that I didn't add at all. But I did want to talk about this as a separate video. But a little snippet is that I have started investing in the stock market. So that's something that I like to do in the mornings or sometime throughout my office day. So the 4 days that I go to work. If I am not able to check my stocks in the mornings, I'll do it over lunch while I'm eating lunch, or at night before I go to sleep. Just throughout the day, like, I like to check in on it and probably put more money in it. So that's what I like to do. I'm just beginning this journey, so I don't have a lot of information. I'm still learning, and I don't want to make a video on something that I am not good at, or that could just spread more misinformation. So that's what I like to do. At night on the weekends, when I don't really have those like heavy workload, I would watch Netflix shows, something that's light and fun. And right now I'm watching Gossip Girl, just because I'm going to New York and I really want to know more about the city in that sense. And then I also like to go on Pinterest at night before I go to sleep while I'm listening to manifestation and affirmation videos on YouTube. I like to create mood boards for that week, or anything that I'm feeling, or the feeling that I'm really trying to curate for myself for the following week. Something to look forward to and something to strive for. And I guess like that's the concept of all of this, or especially this season of locking in, is to set goals to look forward to so that you have something to work towards. And when you're completing like little tiny goals, that's going to build momentum and create bigger outcome and results of success. And yeah, that's really what I do throughout the week to help maintain and maximize productivity and performance. I hope that was somewhat helpful. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.